Okay, so we are going to put all of this together now. So I said I was going to make some really posh fish fingers. This is just a small, modest piece of cod that has been in the freezer. I'm going to coat it in a little bit of flour, maybe a tiny touch of turmeric, just for a little bit of flavour, and make some posh fish fingers out of this. So the batter has been resting for quite a while. Leaving your batter for half an hour just means that it'll have a much richer flavour and be much crispier and just a better experience altogether. So, I think we could probably get going on our little chippies now. So we're going to put the chips here on this back ring. We're going to put the fish here. We've got our tartare sauce doing its amazing thing. So what I'm going to do here with the pan for the chips, which are cooling now. So cooling them means that the starch gets a chance to reform. I'm letting the pan heat up first. Putting oil in a cold pan means that there's no protective layer between the pan and the oil, and it's just not such a good outcome in the end. It's a bit like preheating the oven. People think, oh, there's no need. There very much is a need, my friends. There very much is a need. So letting the pan heat up, it just creates much better outcomes. Your food will be crispier and less greasy, and that's a big aim. You don't want greasy food. I think it's quite important that after you've eaten, you feel good. It's normal and expected that after you've eaten, you should feel good. And I think people fully expect these days that that's not going to be the case. They don't expect that. They don't expect it as part of the meal deal. I think that's pretty depressing. Food should make us feel good. The process of shopping, well, that should be a nice process. The cooking process, wow, that should definitely be a nice process. And that whole process of eating the food, well, that too, that should be a really nice process. And then once you've eaten it, the pleasure should continue. You should continue to feel good and happy and sated, but not out of your mind bloated. That's normal, that's achievable. And my worry is that we're so addicted to ultra processed food now that I can see in not the too distant future that I'll walk into the supermarket and my options for fresh food will have minimized into nothing. So we really need to protect and safeguard our access to decent food, because when it's gone, it's gone. And I don't know what happens to humans when we stop eating proper food. Well, we can see what's happening, but if it wasn't accessible anymore, I don't know. I actually can't work out how that works. I don't know what that means. So, top heat. When these chips go in, it's going to bring the temperature of the oil down quite a lot, so be prepared for that. Same with your oven. When you're preheating your oven, heat it a bit more because it will cool down in a fairly dramatic fashion once you start to put food in. Now just make sure these don't stick. And leave them alone for a bit. So same story with this pan. Here's the batter we made earlier. It's a nice consistency, nice and creamy. It's not pulling. so it's not overworked. It's unpleasant. Overworked batter is unpleasant. Okay. God, that smells really good. I think I want a little bit more apple cider in there. A big part of becoming a better cook is tasting, trusting, and testing. Test your limits, and I would always recommend that to become a much better cook, a more inventive cook. Imagine food, just imagine. Sit and think about it. What would that feel like? What would go with that? What would contrast with that? The more you can do that, the more you can really invent your own world of food. And I fully admit you have to be a little bit neurotic when it comes to food, because I find I'm in. I'm fully bought into the food world. I think about it a lot. I imagine food a lot. That's where I'm at.